We all know that esports is going through a really bad esports winter, from teams either pulling out of esports or going under altogether, that even the publishers of these leagues who own these kind of franchise leagues are starting to panic as well. Or at least one of them being Activision Blizzard, who obviously owns the OWL League and the CDL League. They came out with a statement through SEC filings that they're not very confident in what might be the future of these leagues, where they said our collaborative arrangements for professional esports leagues, OWL and the CDL, continue to face headwinds which are negatively impacting the operations and potentially the longevity of the leagues under the current business model. We continue to work to address these challenges, which could result in significant costs, and such efforts may prove unsuccessful. So even Activision themselves, who is the publisher, knows that these leagues might not be sustainable long term, and it could be because of the absolutely ridiculous buy-in. The CDL was $25 million to get a spot in the CDL, and making that amount of money back in that league is almost impossible. That's going to take decades and decades to try and make back. Plus, on top of just buying your spot, you have to field a roster, which the minimum salaries are $50,000 per player. So that's at least $200,000 a year in just player costs. Plus, you have to pay for travels, you have to pay benefits, events and stuff. It adds up to a lot of money coming out of pocket with not too much money really coming in. I mean, even if we just look at the viewership numbers for the CDL, which is actually doing pretty good this year. They opened up to watch parties on Twitch. They are streaming across all platforms. So the viewership numbers are better than ever for this. You can see this is stage 4, the most recent one. It had 153,000 average, 276,000 peak. That's not bad for a late stage during the CDL when the COD cycle's kind of coming to an end and it's not the championship yet. And if we compare this to previous stages, right, we can look at stage 3 from 2022, peak viewers at 60K, average at 24. That's abysmal. That is terrible compared to what the numbers are right now. So it's on a good path, but mainly because this was only on YouTube, no co-streams, none of that stuff going on. And the explosion is with co-streams, with people like Scump retiring and co-streaming it, Zuma doing that. So these numbers are inflated through that. And the biggest way that leagues in general, like traditional sports leagues, make a bunch of money is through broadcasting rights. And right now, the CDL is not selling that because they're streaming everywhere. So if they want to make money, they can go down this route, which was when they were in YouTube, and it really could take a hit to their viewership if they sign with YouTube over Twitch and people can't do watch parties. And if you look at the championship for last year, obviously the most viewed event every single year, average is 104, peak was 275, and this season or stage 4 beats those viewership numbers through watch parties and stuff. So the championship this year should get more viewership than last year by a very good amount. You're hoping for that. But like these numbers show, like without watch parties, the CDL was on a bad path. They've corrected it, but it takes a hit at the money. Like there's no money coming in from your rights. And also the OWL from Blizzard, they're not doing too hot either. I mean, these are from 2023, their spring stage. I think this is still going on. But I mean, if you're not super deep into Overwatch, you probably don't even know the OWL is even a thing or even going on. I know a lot of people don't. Even the CDL, if you're not into competitive COD, you probably don't even know what's going on. So that's one problem for them. But this peak viewership, 118, 63K, like it's just not great for a league that's supposed to obviously be run by one of the biggest gaming companies in the world. If we compare them to Valorant, like VCT here, you can see these numbers blow them out of the water. 432,000 average, 1.4 million peak viewership. And this is still with watch parties and stuff. That's how Riot's going with Valorant. And they had a different approach to their system where Call of Duty, OWL, they had buy-in fees where you had to pay tens of millions of dollars to get your spot. In Valorant, you don't have to pay that. They picked these like founding teams. They picked 12 of them or something for each region, and you got to get in for free, and Riot just kind of picked them, which might be a more sustainable model, because Riot with the LCS noticed these buy-in things, it's just not a way to really do it. It's not working out long term. And you can look at other Riot run kind of esport leagues like the LCS, which is on the decline, but still, this is 2022. Their summer split 370 peak, 115 average. Even though that's a giant decline, the LCS is not on a great path. You know, if you look at those numbers, they're just not doing too great. You can look, that's 22, this is 2023. You can see the big drop off in peak viewers, almost lost 100K, average viewers going down as well. So not great for the LCS league, but obviously they have Valorant to still go, and Riot has LCK too. I mean, LCK is doing numbers, 1.4 million peak for their spring and 1.3 million. So it's actually gone up from the year over year. So Riot's leagues are doing pretty good. And when you compare them to one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, Activision's leagues are not doing good. They're not pushing the same amount of numbers. And if you're an advertiser where these leagues are going to make the most of their money through partnerships, sponsors, and putting things onto their league, like doing whatever they're doing there with partnerships, they're not going to go to an Activision league when they can go to a Riot league for maybe the same amount of money, maybe even a little bit more, but get 10x the eyeballs. That's just a simple math there, right? If you can go from 200K peak viewers or 300K peak viewers to 1.3 million peak viewers, then you're probably going to pick the millions of viewers instead of the hundreds of thousands. And obviously with this news coming out that Activision's even worried about the CDL, you got people like Hex tweeting that they told you so, which is an OG in COD, probably the best or biggest brand in the CDL with Optic. And a lot of people saying if the CDL dissolves, then we'll be good. We'll go back to how it used to be in CWL. But there is a problem there because Activision still owns the rights. It's their video game. So if they shut down their own league, are they going to allow other people to run leagues and profit off of that if they can't? Obviously, Activision wants to make money. We know they're a very greedy company, and if they're not getting a slice of some sort of money, they're probably not going to allow it. But esports definitely in a pretty tough spot if teams are going bankrupt, falling out, or just straight up pulling out of esports saying it's not worth it anymore. And even publishers are coming out saying, we don't know if these leagues are sustainable and will be around for the long term. So esports keeps getting worse. The industry, I'm sure, will get out on the other side. There's a lot of people that are attracted to esports that want to watch it, and that will, some games or some publishers will push through this. But I think a lot of teams and esports themselves, leagues, are not going to make it through this. So we'll see who comes on the other side, and those are the teams that are going to be running the entire scene. That's going to do it for this video. As always, do smash the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.